Make a U-turn. In 1,000 feet, slide left, take the next left, sharp left, turn right on, continue on, in a quarter mile, at the light, in 600 feet, turn right on.
You have reached your destination.
Yup. Okay, today is floorboard and transmission tunnel day. Since I've already done the back one, I might as well start working on the front one. First thing I'm going to do is weld in a patch for that because I don't need it. There's nothing there that I need to get access to. Although I will put an access door there in the bottom, which will give me access to the backup switch and the drain plug. In the meantime, I'll put this back up here. In the meantime, you can see that this is badly placed. This is where it is normally placed. I've put it up against the screw plugs, and for it to be in an area where about right there, I've got to move the entire this forward by a few inches. Okay, this is going to require me to cut out and weld in a piece. That's going to be easy. It's going to be smelly because of all the tar and stuff on the other side of this. But again, it's going to be pretty easy. So I'm more or less going to just trace this out. That's why I've got the blue tape there. I ran out of that blue, the white welding welder's pen. And I'm going to, as you can see, trace it out there. I will then drill new holes, and on, and put it all together. I have also, because I'm going to put the transmission tunnel on top of floorboards, some of the holes don't line up, so I've been doing some trimming. Let's see if I can show you there, and you can see that I trimmed some of the metal back. You can see that hole right there. I trimmed some metal back to make room for the transmission, and that's on both sides. Okay, so that's going to be easy. That's just a piece of wood. I've got to plug up that hole. That's for the left-hand drive steering wheel, and so forth. And that lifted dot, I'm gathering is for the carpet. That's kind of, I don't know, but excuse me. I'll also take off that bracket there. That's just unnecessary. I hadn't thought about that until now, as a matter of fact. Yeah. Maybe I'll put that on the left side. Maybe. Yeah. Or something. I don't know. But like I said, I'm going to put a piece of wood there, clamp it down, and make that part of that entire wall, such that it covers up the two holes, and I'm able to have a watertight kind of a cockpit. So, first things first, some tracing, some welding, and some cutting. And something else I've done, I decided to make that a little bit thinner or less tall. There it is. So, either I will weld this together on the other piece, or I'll make do with something. I'm pretty good at this kind of stuff. Yep. Oh, and I'll show you why. Yeah. Let's see. Turn this puppy on. You can see how close to the tunnel the actual shifting mechanism is. The gear shift will go through there, right? And I was, maybe still am, a bit concerned that as I shift, with this higher, I would have had a smaller space to throw the gear shift back and forth. Maybe I ought to put the gear shift in and test out my theory. And maybe either shave more down or cover up the entire thing for just a hole. In fact, I might do that. Shoot. I mean, that wouldn't be too hard. You know what? Yeah. Okay, so here, here's my thought. I've got a ton of extra metal everywhere, and I'm going to make a patch and screw back in, make a hole here, and of that same size. Hell yeah, I don't know why I didn't think of that before. It's because yeah, well, obviously I don't do things with a plan. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. Well, yeah, well, that's fun. I do enjoy cutting and slicing and that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Okay, well, yeah, there we go. So there it is. I have cut out the piece, I've bent it, I've beat the hell out of it with a hammer, I have finagled it with my vise, on and on and on. Drilled out the mount holes and discovered the center of where I want that. And to do that, I'm using this because this is the size of, this is the size of the shift, the native shift throw, and I want to be able to use, the rubber boots and the chrome and all the other stuff from Moss that I would normally use to make this thing look nice. So that's about center. So all I'm going to do is trace that circle with my green marker and leave it alone for tomorrow. This is going to be something I'll look forward to, and I really got to pee and I want to take a shower and go to bed. I got to work tomorrow, so I'll show you the rest tomorrow. And I'm done. This was kind of a bitch. I cut out using a my angle grinder. Cut all the way around for a whole bunch of pie pieces, which I then took off bit by bit by bit. So I've got about an hour into making a hole. And so what's left? What's left is to kind of even some of these curves out, I think. Maybe not. I will take this off. I'll take off all the rust and the bare metal that was there before and paint it. And paint this puppy. And continue to do work on the floorboards and so forth while that dries. And I think what I'm going to do today is cover this and put carpet on it, maybe. I got enough time in the day to do it. And that's done. I made no attempt to make it look pretty, so I've got drips and crappy paint. Oh, it's still a bit tacky too. And this is done. I'm not going to paint this until later tonight when I go to bed. Let it dry, because I need to put this in and out of the car a couple times for fitting and more wood, etc., etc. So I'm not displeased by this at all. Over this goes another layer of that stuff. I'm going to coat the entire... Yeah, actually, well, anyway, I'm going to coat the entire thing with the blue stuff, the blue Amazon Hush Mat. And, for the sake of silencing. And the underside has already been painted, so that's not a worry. I've also painted and stripped out and then repainted the actual metal that I bared. And I'm thinking about what am I going to do with that. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole assembly isn't just into one side; it goes through the entire thing to clear the drive shaft, and that's where the e-brake is mounted. I'm gonna do that. Yeah. Anyway, so some more things to think about, if at any rate. All right, it's next day, and here it is. So far, so good, right? Again, didn't give a shit about whether this drips or not because I'm just about to cover it in the blue stuff, which I've got two things left over there. And this is all held together like it should be with the same native screws that I used, that came with the car, rather. Oops. Here's how it looks underneath. I put some blue stuff there for padding. I also painted everything up and down and sideways. And I will likely do some painting and rust removal on this. And this is going to be one of the last things I put in, quite honestly. If nothing more than for, what do you call it? The last, I want access to everything else. If I have to troubleshoot brakes once I bleed those things, and on and on. So, I like what I did. Pretty proud of what I did. Yup. Jesus, what a friggin' blue monstrosity. It weighs about 1,000,000 pounds more than what it normally does, anyway. So, over this, I'm going to put, I'll bring you up here, that thick-ass stuff, what, 3/4 of an inch or whatever it is, we call it the foam sandwich, for more sound deadening. So this is both, this is a heat barrier, and the other stuff is a heat barrier as well as, it's more of an acoustic barrier. So that's done. And I was able to use only one full sheet and a bunch of patches. As you can see, I've got a whole bunch left. So I've got some patchwork quilts, some more floorboards to cover up. I may have enough actually to do all of my stuff. Surprisingly so. So let's take a look at everything else. Turn this around. Yep. You notice this? That's where the thing goes, but with my my thing or whatever the hell it is, it doesn't quite work with my transmission. So I'm not worried about those ears or alignment issues or whatever the hell they are. Drains, I forget. But wow, this stuff is something. And shit, whether I like it or not, I'll never have to get to the screws. Hopefully I don't need to. I double measured and everything else a whole couple of times, so not bad. I do like the fact that I'm going to have a whole lot of area up in here, between here and the dash. I have aspirations on an air conditioner come sometime soon. I'll worry more about that later when and after the car is put together and running and all the sea trials are taken out of it. So, there we go. Not bad at all. Well, okay, here's where we're at. I have fastened a piece of wood atop there and then covered it with the blue stuff. I have all of the floorboards covered in the blue stuff, hush mat. This one and this one I dorked up, so they're actually, covered on the underneath, and I've stapled the hell out of everything so they don't ever fall down. I've also ordered some lizard skin to put on the bottoms of these things. Once I'm done making this video, I'm going to take all of this crap out because I'll need access to the underside and easy access to etc. etc. So I'm specifically talking about the wiring plus the brakes plus everything else. All right, I'm going to pause and put the tunnel in and show you how it looks. Shazam! I see one spot where I'm going to make a repair. There. You shouldn't see daylight right there. So that'll be an easy, relatively easy fix, which is, you know, I'm going to redo that piece there. Put wood in there. The center point over the shift mechanism is nice. It's centered. And it's centered where it needs to be. As I mentioned before, I'm planning on making this such that the transmission tunnel stays on top of the boards, the floorboards. I'm doing that on purpose in case I ever have to get to the guts or the something of the transmission, and I don't want to pull everything out. Just easier that way. Okay. I've also figured out my my fan control. Bought this out of the UK. It got to me in 2 days. I forget where. Okay, I'll put a text box or something as to the folks I bought this from. It's a Revotech controller. This little puppy pops off, so I can adjust at what point the fans turn on. I, of course, will use a thermometer, a laser or something, and pop it on at 180 or 190. The most common ones I've seen are on 180 and off at 170, and so it's a plus 10 degrees thing here. So on at 190, off at 180, etc., etc. On at 200, off at 190, whatever. But I've yet to hook this up. It's just a couple of bits of wiring. There's one black ground. There is the red to the main power source, and then blue. Blue is to the fan controllers. What's up, cat? So that's a 10-20 minute wiring job. Nice and easy. I'll do that later in a different video. I've got other things I've got to get done. And I'll post this tonight.